of Om Mati Pati Om. Okay, and what it represents. And some people will understand that because they've had some maybe Reiki teachings of the masters. But each symbol that you have, it's more and grander than that. Each word you speak is something different. But I want to start out with Jesus. He knew right off from the beginning. If you start off in Genesis right here, right now, in the beginning, God created man, right? And what he said here, he says he had to have a thought pattern before he spoke to God. God created the heavens and the earth in the beginning. And the earth was without form. So what I'm basically saying is Genesis chapter 1, it states this, and this is in Lamsa Bible. And the earth was without form and void. The darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. And then God called the day light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. And God said, let there be fragments of the mist of the water, and let it be divided into waters from the waters. And God made the fragment, divided the waters where they're under, the fragments for the waters above, and so below. And God called the fragment sky. And there was a sky, and then there's water. And I could go on. But he spoke words. And also in John, verse 1, St. John, verse 1, chapter 1, the Word was in the beginning, and it was the very Word was with God, and God was the Word. And the same is the beginning with God. Everything came into being by his hand, and without him, not even one thing that was created came to be. The life was in him, and the life is the light of men. The same light shines in darkness, and the darkness does not overcome it. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. He sent John, he sent Adam and Eve, and he sent Abraham to create mankind. And the God of light, what he's talking about, is in each one of you right here today. It still is going on. And that's what he's talking about. But he spoke it. We know that we speak certain things like major prayers. We say, Father God, you say he taught us to say, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. His Father taught us to say that because it was more powerful words. He already knew that these were powerful words. And I'm going to say it again to you. It says, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us out of temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. These are just words, you think, but they're not. Each syllable, each word has a fragment of energy, just like you. You all can visualize this as a cell phone. Each time you have a cell phone, you have different sounds and syllables. 1, 9, and 8, and 7. If you go 7, 8, 9 on your cell phone, you hear a tone, it's different. Each syllable has something different. Well, the ancient Aztecs, the Buddhists and the Tibetan people, they understand this already too. So they started the Om. Everybody just do that. Say Om. Om. You notice if we keep saying that, do you know that's actually the God's voice? And that's supposed to be the universal God? Okay? The Sanskrit knows that also from the Eastern philosophy of Buddha, they know that certain things send out different things. Okay, that we know that in Buddhism that the Om is the jewel of the lotus himself. It's the hum. It's also the praise of the jewel, is however the meaning is, there's 6 Tibetan syllables has been the Om, Ma, De, Pa, De, Hum is 6. And that's what I start out with, is because each syllable, and there we can go on to it, and I couldn't understand it because it could go on forever. The translation of each syllable is something different. And some of them in different meanings. But I'm just going to go through a major, just basic symbol of just a basic. Trust me, it's grander than what I can say it to be, okay? If you want to study it, go on the internet, look into it, and then get books, because books, and they can, okay? So the Om is the bliss of pride and the realms of God. So the Om is the verse of God. Okay, so we know, anybody know the Tibetan Book of the Dead? How many people? There's different levels. You know the Tibetans also, when you die, you go and incarnate, and there's different doorways that you go through to get your born again, to be reincarnated in human form. There's several things that you have to take, steps that they say that you go through. And there's one with dogs, one would be insects, the other one would be different things. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So there's different levels. There's temptations that are there to seduce you before you can get to the other side. So being in a human form of reincarnation is very impossible sometimes to get to. So what they're trying to say is sometimes the meanings are different things. You have karma and you have other things, so they're all developed and they're all major and they're all piled up on something. So this, what I'm saying is this Om represents God, but there's also, they're more grander than that. I'm just touching the basics of it. So I'm trying to tell you there's a lot to the Om Mate Pati Om. I'm just giving you the basic structure. Okay? So the Om reveals is the realm of gods. And I say gods because what we believe in is, in spiritualism, we believe what God is to you, right? And the Tibetans are also say gods because they know they have several gods. Okay? So when you say Om, let's practice that, and I can guarantee if you can get into it, because what we're doing with that Om is actually connecting to God. That's why the monks use this. So we say Om, Om, Om. So what we're doing right now is projecting God's voice and His energy, and we're connecting to the God source, and we're asking Him to come in. Now, Ma, Oma purifies jealousy, it's getting rid of. Oma, Oma. So we're connecting with God, and now we're saying Ma, we're getting rid of jealousy, the ego. The Ma is in a different realm, like our chakras, but Oma is now, when we say that, we're releasing, we're connecting to God. Now the Ma is we're releasing to the ego, we're letting the ego go. And how many people know that in this spiritualism there's a lot of ego, isn't there? You're dang right. So what, you don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that. So practice. Every time you say a chant, like a prayer, you start changing like the 7 precepts. When you take them on, you start changing. So if you kind of take this on, what you're doing is casting out some negative things around you. And that's what we're doing. Oh my. Now what we're doing is purifying jealousy and the need for entertainment. This is the realms of the gods too. What we're trying to say is I only want one God in my life, or whatever it may be. Na, Oma, na, would be passion and a desire, but that would be the level in human form. So each one, like I said, that the Tibetan monks, we have 7 doors, okay? So you have creation way at the end, and then you have temptations, like your 7 auras. We all have them, right? And each time, this Kundalini represents what? The force of life, and that's the beginning of also survival. And each time you get into the higher chakras, and then you get to the crown chakras, what happens? You're also mastered, right, yourself. And this is the level I'm talking about, Om Mate Pate Om. It's the same thing. I'm trying to get you to master, if you say it, each level that you say with 6 syllables, you're mastering something higher. And that's why I keep talking to the lowest flower, because our lowest flower is up here, and our God light is here. So every time what we're trying to do, we're trying to master. Every time we come to church, we're mastering ourselves right now, aren't we not? We are. So when we say Om Mate, now we're in 9, that is passion and desire we're trying to release. Om Mate Pate Om Mate Pate What we're doing is actually getting rid of a lot of negative stuff that's attached to us when we say that. It's like a prayer. Our Father which art in heaven. God told us to pray for a reason, because He knew words were trying to do something. Words represent a form of man, and what you think of and what you say and you put out in the world. God created the world with just those words. So, what I'm trying to say, prayers also are an energy form to raise yourself up, to get rid of negative things. I put a spiritual hedge around this church. I put a spiritual hedge around myself. And you say hedge. It's true. I put a spiritual hedge there. I say, Father God, I golden armor, silver light, or surround and protect my aura. That any negativity, I cast that out in your names. Raise me up and let me think of what it needs to be and place it there in front of me. What am I doing? We know those words are powerful. Just like what I'm trying to say. I'm releasing them in English, but why not say it in a mantra of Om Mate Pate Om. Om Mate Pate Om. And if you start saying this and what you're doing, and each one I'm trying to give you why what you're doing. So we got Pa is in the animal realm, is also in the ignorance and prejudice. Wow. So I'm releasing any negativity or prejudice or ignorance I have in myself. Well, here we go. Om, I'm connecting to my God source. Ma, I'm getting rid of my ego. Na, I'm getting rid of all desires that I have. I'm sacrificing it, meaning I want to get rid of it. I'm trying to raise myself up to be a better person. Pod purifies the ignorance and prejudice. Me purifies possessingness. And that's the realm of ghosts, by the way. I'm trying to help my spirit guides out too, because your spirit guides are important to you. You're also going to be a spirit guide when you transfer over, aren't you? Think about what I just said here. When you die, don't you think you're going to be a spirit guide to somebody else? A helper? Yeah. Om Mate Pate Om. Because I'm releasing anything that I have also in my future, being also in my future with my guides, my messenger guides. I want the purity of the message of God's presence within me. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up my guides also to progression prayer. I'm asking my guides, step up. And I'm praying for you to be given on a higher level so I can be on a higher level. So my entire, also, not only am I working on that, I'm working on my next incarnation. How powerful these words are? My next incarnation, I'm working on it again, so when I cross over to be another helper, I'm on a higher plane. I'm getting rid of that possessiveness. What is possessiveness, and where's that at? In Kundalini? That's survival, isn't it? I'm trying to go up with my chakras, just like this Om Mate Pate Om. Each time you say it, you're going up higher and higher and higher. And then Hum purifies aggressiveness and hatred, and that's the hell realm, if you want to think about that. Hatred is where? It's not love. The opposite of hatred is it's not love, but yet when we're talking about Hum purifies aggression and hatred. So if we're trying to say that, even if you don't intelligently understand it, I want you to understand what you can free by chanting it. Every time you chant something or say a prayer or a prayer like we do in our liturgy, we're changing something. So let's say that again. So I'm trying to help you out. So let's say that 5 times. Om Mate Pate Hum. Om Mate Pate Hum. Om Mate Pate Hum. Om Mate Pate Om. You can say Om or you can say Hum. But see how important that is. We're trying to rearrange it. So I'm trying to say it's a root of karmas. It's a mantra that you have set up to recite. When a person recites this several times a day, it's like a river or an ocean. It flows. It touches every person just like your voice comes out and it touches. God had to use the voice to create heaven. He had to use the vibration. He had to have that mantra. He understood what it was. He understood without, I breathed man through existence. All he had to do is have a voice, a tone. Thump. I want you to feel this right next to you. Where is it feeling at? Now it's going to resonate different than everybody else because you're on a different path. But I can guarantee you, when we start saying it together here, and we say it together, we're going to be into a level, and then we raised her up, we raised you up. We never raised you down. It always raises up. What we're doing is like the Om Mani Padme Om. You're releasing all intentions. You ever know it's the same thing? When you meditate, it's the same dang thing. When you meditate, what are you doing? You're releasing any negative charge around you, aren't you? You're taking something that's tense, relaxing it. It's the same thing with the ancient aspects of the Tibetan Buddhism. The same thing is the Christian beliefs. It's the same thing as God. I'm trying to show you. It's the same thing as our 7 chakras. It's the same thing as Tibetan Book of the Dead. Well, how we get to these strange things or our occurrences of what you believe in does not really matter. It's a path that you have signed up for, your contract that your soul is signed up with, that you just resonates with you better. Like I said, the 9 principles for me resonates nothing at the beginning, but I changed. So now the 7 precepts of truth resonates with me better. It's the same thing as what I'm just trying to show you here. Releasing, letting go, and coming to terms with what makes you better. If it's the Om Mani Padme Om, so be it. If it's just the power of prayer, putting a spiritual hedge around you, blessed be. But as long as you're taking this thing and you're taking it and you're removing any of the ego, any of the different levels, how can it be bad? You're touching the essence of the breath of life of what God wants you to be, the power, the rebirth of what you become. And when I say it purifies the negative karma, because you're asking, what can you change? Well, we believe in progression here. And what is progression? Progressions don't just necessarily mean that we progress on the other side. Yes, we do, but you can progress from a level form of being human right here, right now. I'm not the same person 10 minutes ago. I actually am not now, because I even said the Om Mani Padme Hum. I believe and I have faith in it, that I restructured my DNA strands of my ego of letting go, my aggressiveness let go, and other things that I sacrifice is now let go. I made it better just by saying Om Mani Padme Om. I have faith in it. It's the same thing. When you release it, just have faith and let it be there. If you don't want, I don't want you to quit in life. I want you to retreat, and I want you to have a mantra. Chanting mantras are really good. It's like the Our Father in Arch in Heaven. How many times we say our prayers every day? It's a mantra. And that's what I'm talking about. The Om Mani Padme Om is like a mantra. And you can look at it when you start singing it. What we do in our 7 precepts here of our truth, I always say when it says here, oh, hear our prayer. What it is he's singing this, hear our prayer, oh, hear our prayer, guard us, keep us in thy care. Oh, loving Father, hear our prayer, oh, hear our prayer. That's a mantra. You're asking me how? Well, it's singing it, and if we do it every Sunday, it's turned into a mantra, because a mantra is something that we repeat over and over and over again. And what a mantra does, it also takes it within, it resonates with us, and we're releasing all that negative stuff and bringing positive things to us. It's like the Om Mani Padme Om, or the spiritual hedge, and I'm trying to compare the two because they're the same. But you have to understand how important your words are, first of all, though. Because God created this heaven and earth just by a form of words. It was formless, and all he did was spoke a word. You ever heard the saying where you have no bones in your tongue, but by God you can break hearts with that tongue that don't have no bones? How strong is it to break somebody's heart? How bad is it that you can take a negative charge to somebody and make them feel bad just by that tongue that has no bones? And by the way, it takes 7 positives to create 1 negative. Sad, ain't it? But if you have a mantra that you can give by, like I say, my prayers every day. Every morning when I get up, that's my mantra. I talk to my guides and line them up when I do my spiritual practice. That's my mantra. Or you can have a mandala. That's a mandala right there. A mandala would be looking at Jesus Christ's picture, and I get all excited, and I do. I look at that and I say, I get into my meditative state, and then what am I doing? I'm into, excuse me, I apologize, I forgot I was being recorded. I'm into my meditative state, I'm looking at Jesus, and I'm just looking into it and going depth within. I am now practicing my breathing, letting go, raising my vibrational body up, and then looking at Jesus. Anything can be a mantra or a mandala. But what I'm trying to say is, from the Buddhist to Jesus, to whoever it is, the whole important part is letting go and receiving something positive in, raising you up. That's what it's about. From ground zero, from the first chakra to the seven chakras, to Om Mate Pate Om. From each symbol, each one does a different level of what can animal kingdom, ego, to whatever you're letting go. I'm giving you these thoughts for practice because we're all tied in together to show you we are. Spiritualism is grand. We're allowing that. We philosophize with it. I can have a Buddhist up here and he can talk to you now. You can understand a little better, saying, yeah, he's just doing his wisdom. Wow, that's almost like our seven chakras. Wow, well, it is our seven chakras. Wow, the levels, progression. Oh, wow, isn't that like our spiritualism? Oh, wow. Oh, in Eckankart, same way. Slumberland. Wow, after you're dead, you go to Slumberland. Well, after you're dead, Slumberland's like our spiritualism, or before you go to heaven, you have to go to Slumberland. It's not, it's almost like purgatory. Oh, do you see the difference? If you practice religion, if you study it, you'll see so many coin words that are so compatible. They're just different names, but they're on the same level. They're all, but the only thing that's still the same is letting go and raising up. I offered it here when I started saying out whoever your God is, and I mean it. Spiritualism is that, a science, philosophy, and religion. My Christian brother and my non-Christian brother are welcome here. My friends are welcome here that are Buddhists, because we're all going to go to the same place, wherever we make it. We're all going to strengthen each other and unify one another. We're all going to love one another. They all do. We all have the same hearts. We all have the same beatings. It don't matter the color of your skin. We're all humans. Just give me food for thought that I wanted to lay that out to you. So a different way of practicing your spirituality, if you can't talk to your guides, maybe you can do a mantra. Maybe you can Om Mate Pate Om to raise your voice up that way. And if not, it may not resonate in you that way either. But find a way that does. That's what's so good about spiritualism. God bless each and one of you, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Now, the other part of it is now